Okay, so here we have a fabulous diagram from the book. If you haven't noticed, I'm just pulling the diagrams straight out of the book. To me, that's going to be a lot easier for you to do your studying if the diagrams I'm using in these videos match up with the diagrams in the books. But anyway, this diagram shows the two different processes in photosynthesis. I know the top of the page says 2 steps, but there's dozens of steps that are going on here. And basically what this is showing, we've got 2 major processes that happen. The one is the light reactions. The light reactions happen in the grana on the thylakoid membranes, and they involve the actual chlorophyll, and we call them the light reactions because they do require sunlight to make them happen. Then the second process is called the Calvin cycle, and some people call it the dark cycle or the light independent reactions or something like that. But basically this is the part that doesn't actually require the sunlight. It just requires the products of the light reactions. So if we look at the light reactions, there is a few things that happen here. First of all, the sunlight is going to hit the chlorophyll, and that is going to excite the chlorophyll. We'll get way into the details of this in future sections, but it's going to excite the chlorophyll, and this energy is going to be used to take water and to split the water in half. So it's going to separate the hydrogens and the oxygens. Now we already talked about the oxygen from the water is going to end up becoming O2, and it's going to be lost as waste, which is shown here. But the hydrogens, as they get split from the oxygen, they're actually carrying some electrons, and those electrons are going to end up being energized, or they have electrons associated with them that are going to be energized. So we're going to have another electron-carrying substance that is going to pick up these electrons and carry them to somewhere else. And in the cellular respiration, that molecule was NADH. We have a sister molecule to that called NADPH. It's the exact same molecule, it just has a phosphate. So it's nicotinamide I forget anyway, but it has a phosphate on it. So anyway, it's called NADPH when it has been reduced and has these electrons. So it's going to pick up the electrons as well as the hydrogen from the water. The other thing that's going to happen in the light reactions are we're going to form some ATP. So we're going to use this energy from the sunlight and take ADP with a phosphate and turn it into ATP. We'll find out again in detail that goes through a chemiosmosis process as well, which is actually kind of cool to make the connections with the terms from chapter 9. But anyway, so the major things again that happen in the light reactions, we have water is split. The hydrogens from water get carried away, as well as their electrons, more importantly, carried away by NADPH, and then some of the other energy is used to make ATP. Okay, so that's the light reactions, and then, again, that happens in the grana. Now, the Calvin cycle, this happens in the stroma, which is the liquid inside of the chloroplast. So it happens in the stroma. It's a cycle, and it's a series of just chemical reactions that happen. But basically, we're going to take carbon dioxide that has to be fixed from the atmosphere, take that carbon dioxide and use the energy from the ATP as well as the energized electrons that NADPH is carrying, and the hydrogens that NADPH has. And we're going to take all of that and combine it through several cycles with the Calvin cycle, combine it to ultimately make sugar. If you notice the sugar product that it says here is CH2O instead of C6H12O6, it's basically taking the reduced form or the simplest form of sugar and saying, hey, one round of the Calvin cycle is going to make this 1 carbon, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen ratio. If we can continue to do that, we'll end up getting sugar. So that's the overview of photosynthesis. And the next video is going to start to get into some of the details of what goes on in all of this. And again, I think it's going to be one of those that's like, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? But then once the connection is made of how it all fits together, it is an amazingly complex and wonderful thing that we get to understand about plants and how they make food. So that's it. Sorry about the glare that was on my glasses this whole time. Hopefully it didn't look like my eyes were possessed with something. Yeah, we'll see you in class.